Hello again, this is Dr. Renee of Pleasant Leadership Consulting, where we inspire your leadership freedom. So welcome back to week number 2. This is a 4-part series called Maximize Meeting Productivity with a subtitle of Tips to Avoid Derailment. So thank you again. If you haven't done so, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. That way you're notified every week when I record and upload a video here on Leadership University. But I got news for you. I don't do it just once a week. We're up to 3 videos a week. That's right. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you that right now I've got a light rain shower, but it's coming in waves. So if you hear like a storm come through, you're literally hearing a storm come through. So my office has a tin roof, and so you might hear a little bit of that echo. So I'm going to try to get through this one before the next band of rain comes through. All right, so we're on session 2, and that session is called Avoiding Assumptions. So whenever you have a meeting, you want to make sure as the leading facilitator, you are doing your part for you yourself as well as those in attendance to avoid assumptions. So how do you do that, Dr. Renee? I'm so glad you asked. Let's go ahead and look into how to do that. All right, next slide is, all right, have your key persons included in the process, and we call that collaboration. That's right, collaboration. So you want to go ahead and get the key people associated with the topic in which the meeting is being held about or the project, and you're going to talk with them constantly. They're going to be involved in part of this project all along. Collaboration. That's the word of the day. Collaboration. Say it with me. Collaboration. Say it again. Collaboration. What is it? Collaboration. That's the key. We want to work on collaboration. All right, the next point I want to make is never, ever, ever assume that everyone has the same background knowledge. Okay, so you know that, I'm going to date myself. Back in the day when I was like a preteen, one of my favorite movies as a preteen was Bad News Bears, the original one, right? Okay, with Walter Matthau. And he was, talking like an adult, talking to kids about never assuming, right? Along the same lines about background knowledge. Never assume, because when you assume, take the word assume into 3 syllables. First syllable, second syllable is the you, and then the last syllable is me. Then just make words. Are you with me? I'm not saying it on video, but you can say it in your head, right? So when you assume, you're making something out of you and me, okay? So never assume that people have the same background knowledge as yourself. So I always start my meetings with just a simple statement: is I'm not trying to talk down to you. I'm not trying to say that you don't know this. I just want to make sure we're on a common ground here. And so this is what I want when I say this. This is what I mean, and I define the terms. And this, I'm working from the premise of this. I said, does anybody else have anything to add to this definition? And that way we're all on an even playing field, okay? And that way you're kind of putting it out there. And so this is critical when you are talking about a project. So never just assume that everybody knows that the product is about what the product does or information about the client that you are serving. Always start your first meeting out with a background knowledge information session. And lastly on this slide, give details on specific issues so you can avoid teammates jumping to conclusions. Again, that's part of the collaboration process. If all the key players are in the know along the way, they're going to know the details on the specific issues, and they're not going to be jumping to conclusions because they're only going to know what they know based upon their background information, right? They're based on their perspective. And so this is going to stop you having to put out a lot of fires down the road when you don't have time for it. So just like in session 1, if you upload and spend some time uploading and doing some pre-work, it will save you time down the road, I promise you. Okay, this week was short, just in helping you before you get into the meat of the minute, the meat of the minutes of a meeting. that's like a tongue twister there. But I promise you, we will. If you do these things ahead of time, it makes your minutes flow so much faster. Join us next week as we continue. We're halfway done with the series. It's a short series, but I promise you, it is worth it. If you gained any nuggets out of this week or last week, please drop them in the comments below. I invite you to continue to follow us next week. For the last 2 weeks, we have 2 more weeks in the series. Go ahead and visit us on our website at pleasantleadership.com. Check us out, and we would love to help you in any way to remove any obstacles that are interfering with you pursuing your goal and pursuing your vision and crushing your goals. All right, guys, if you're a leader, go forth and lead well. Your followers need you. See you next week. Oops. That's just sharing the screen. Sorry about that.